Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here, back again with another set of D&D stories, and today we're going to be talking about those unfair, unjust, unruly moments where your DM has screwed you over. Oh yeah, leave in the comments below if you've been royally screwed with by a DM unjustly. And I don't mean those moments where you didn't get your way, I mean those moments where you, the player, the listener, the dear sweet subscriber to this channel, have been completely reamed by the DM for no reason. Now, with that said, what's the most unfair thing a dungeon master ever did to you, part 3? The most unfair thing a DM has ever done to me, he actually did to the whole group, so I guess I wasn't being singled out, at least. I've written this story a few times on threads like these. Feel free to use it in a future video. Hey, OP or original writer, it's us. We're going to be using it in a video, so say hi in the comments below if this is you. This happened way back in 1989 or 1990. We were playing the greatest edition of D&D ever, a D&D 2nd edition. I'm just kidding. Kinda. There are some elements of 2nd edition I really do miss, however. The DM's name was Fung. I'm not going to bother with fake names because God, did this guy ever suck as a DM. Fung was friends with another one of the players in my regular D&D group. I think his name was Aaron. Anyway, Fung invited Aaron to join him for a game of AD&D set in the Greyhawk setting. Aaron extended the invitation to the rest of us. Along with Aaron, there was me, Ryan, Laird, Conrad, and David. When we got there, there were a bunch of other people there to play. I'm guessing Fung's regular D&D group? Including the DM, I think there was a total of 13 of us. Maybe 15, it was a huge group. We sat around a large ping pong table. Fung at one end, 5 or 6 down each side, and Laird and me sitting side by side at the other end. By the way, ping pong tables make great D&D gaming tables, especially if playing with terrain and miniatures. I'll keep that in mind, thanks for the tidbit. The session started out okay. We were all starting at first level. I was playing a female human barbarian that I had already rolled up and been wanting to play. I had actually wrote her up to be for the Forgotten Realms, but you know, whatever. Laird, on the other hand, was playing a female half-elven bard, and I honestly don't remember what anyone else was playing. Hey, look, it's been 30 years. Given the number of players, I'm pretty sure we had a fairly well-rounded group with at least one of every class. Anyway, we start out by being hired as mercenaries and bounty hunters to eliminate the monstrous humanoids who had been raiding the town. We were to take the right ear of every monster we killed as proof in order to collect our bounty. To begin with, things went okay. Given the size of the party, even at level 1, we managed to basically do pretty well in combat. We fought a number of goblins, orcs, bugbears, and gnolls. The problems began when we first engaged in combat. Fung was insisting on us rolling separate initiatives. Well, in a normal game, this would be no problem. But again, this group was huge. We had a number of fairly seasoned DMs in my group. Laird and David would often take turns DMing in my group, but I would run the occasional game as well. And we all told Fung that for a group this size, he should be using group initiatives. For those of you who may not know, rolling group initiatives requires rolling just one initiative roll for the entire group, and then everyone taking turns around the table either clockwise or counterclockwise. You lose the individual benefits of a high dex bonus, but it ensures that everyone at the table has a chance to play, and makes bookkeeping so much easier on the DM. It is especially useful for unusually large parties like this one. Anyway, Fung refused to heed our advice and insisted on individual initiative rolls. What's more, he didn't keep track of whose initiative came when. So, some players at the table were constantly missing out on their turns during combat. This part was frustrating as hell, but not really him being unfair. Now begins the unfair part. Ooh, you got me all riled up and I'm excited. We came to the base of a 200-foot high cliff with dozens of gnolls armed with bows and arrows up top. There were no clear avenues to get up the cliff without having arrows raining down on us from above. They were out of our bow range, yet because they had the high ground, we were still within theirs, which does not make sense as our arrows would have to work against gravity while theirs would be aided by gravity. I thought maybe we can find an unguarded part of the cliff to climb up and flank them. So I grabbed a couple of the other tanks, we went into the trees so we would be out of sight of the gnolls, and went about a mile off to one side. When we came out of the trees, the gnolls were on top of the cliff here too, waiting for us. So we went back into the trees and went a couple more miles off to the side. Again, more gnolls. Rinse and repeat at least a couple of times. We traveled something like 10 miles, yet apparently there are enough gnolls to guard the entire top of that cliff from where we started. So apparently there were over 10,000 gnolls guarding the top of that cliff. I remind you that there were only maybe 14 of us at most, and we're all like, I don't know, first level. Also, there are maybe 50 or 60 men, women, and children in a single gnoll tribe. Something had apparently managed to get about 1,000 gnoll tribes to band together into a single army. This shit was way above our pay grade, so we basically said screw it and went back to town to find an adventure that doesn't require the entire party to be a minimum of 13th level in order to have a fighting chance. And this is where things started getting really unfair. No matter what we tried to do, no matter what our roles were, Fung would just declare that we failed. Laird's Bard tried getting some money by juggling knives on the street corner. Yet despite rolling a near-perfect juggling skill check, his character made no money. The rogue tried conning the barkeep in the tavern to give him his most expensive bottle of dwarven spirits for free. Yet despite having rolled a near-perfect skill check for fast talk, the barkeep refused. I was bored, so I said that I wanted to start a bar fight. And here's what Fung said, that the only other people in the tavern were a band of adventurers who could tell we were far more experienced than us, and we would get our butts kicked if we tried fighting them. Then why the heck aren't they out there slaughtering the 10,000 gnolls that are guarding the top of that cliff? Clearly at this point, Fung was trying to railroad us into walking into that TPK situation, which none of us wanted to go through with. I was fed up, so I just said, fuck this bullshit, I'm out. And I packed up my stuff and left. My entire D&D group joined me, and the session just died right then and there. I've never played D&D with Fung again. He was just a terrible and petty DM. Maybe he matured and got better. I don't know. I just knew that I didn't want to play with him anymore. Realistically, who could blame you? You tried to come up with creative solutions to his otherwise unfair situations, and when you tried to do anything that wasn't based on what they wanted you to do, well, Fung decided it was no time to have any fun, so I'm with you. I'd have walked out too. First character was a dragonborn cleric, pretty good-mannered. Our DM's NPC always had the same personality, talked to the group like they were dumb, and to get out their shop. My character was asking this particular blacksmith something, and the dwarf kept getting an attitude. I asked him why he was acting so shitty. If that only worked in real life, why are you being shitty? And he explained that his family was killed by undead, and he kept talking down to me. I got sick of this in and out of character and told the blacksmith, well, with that attitude, it's no wonder your family is dead. Everyone looked at me with surprise, and the DM had me roll initiative. He tends to be the DM that likes to insta-kill you. So my first action, I cast Death Ward. On the blacksmith's turn, who happened to be a level 20 paladin, well, he smited me, dealing over 200 damage. I was brought to 1 HP. As a legendary action, he smited me again, dealing 160 damage. Yeah, we don't play that campaign anymore. Several years ago in 3.5, while playing a rogue, I encountered the Thieves Guild in a city I was passing through. Knowing their dangerous reputation, I was polite and assured them I was not looking to operate on their turf. I was just passing through, of course. I was killed with no chance, no battle or rolls, which wouldn't have really mattered as I was outnumbered and outgunned. The reason? Oh, I showed a weakness by being polite. The most unfair thing that happened to me in D&D happened with my first character ever. I didn't know drow were evil when I made my ranger. I just thought they looked cool, and I liked the dark vision. Throughout the campaign, up until her death, my ranger had to hide in the cart while traveling or face such intense racism that I literally couldn't roleplay. Her actual death came after the party encountered a circus man offering a challenge. At the center of a large, circular rug, he placed a pedestal with a magic item on it. Anyone who had both feet on the ground when they touched the item could take it, but the rug was enchanted to teleport anyone who touched it off of itself. My ranger had the idea to roll up the rug after seeing that the bottom of the rug didn't have the same teleport effect. As a result, she was able to legally claim the magic item. As soon as she stepped out of the tent with her new item, never did get to know what it was or what it did, she was beaten and killed by an angry mob of all the other people who tried to claim it and failed, which included most of her party. Ever since that experience, whenever I've run a drow in my homebrews, they're always misunderstood folk people only see as evil because they live underground. Also, the fact that your party was in on it too, that's really gross, and I'm sorry you had to deal with that. But drow, despite being the evil cousins of elves, I wouldn't see them as something to target. If you have one in a party, it's just about working around the story to make sure that you get some flavor too, and you don't feel left out. My Hexblade was noped out of the campaign by my DM. His country was in a state of war, and he would be able to stop it. However, the party obviously wasn't interested in visiting my homeland anytime soon, since we were exploring a new land at the time, which is understandable. Someone's backstory shouldn't be forced at some specific time when the party is obviously busy doing something else. Due to some good rolls, however, I actually managed to enter my patron's realm, who basically told me I was half-assing in a faraway land and I should go back to fight for my homeland, so I could become king and become the prophet of my god. I asked if I even was allowed to refuse, to which my DM replied that I could, but my patron would probably take my powers away if I didn't do this. I'm not entirely sure what my DM was trying to set up here. Was it a redemption arc, the loss of my powers, or just the removal of my character? Well, anyway, since at this point my character was still loyal to his patron, and I had no intentions of switching gods like Fjord from Critical Role or something, I agreed. My DM was pretty pissed at me, saying that I should never do that again, because he believed I didn't discuss my character leaving the party with him. I explained to him that I never intended to do that, but he put an ultimatum in front of me, and my character would never refuse his patron at this point in the story. I explained that he basically yeeted my character out of the game. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here, and I want to thank you for listening in. The holiday seasons are upon us, and we're all about trying to get to the end of the year as happily as we can. To that end, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and to ring that bell. And of course, leave a comment down below telling us about your unfair thing that a DM has ever done to you. Something that may just have been slightly screwy or really, really bad. We want to know all about it, and if it's a good one, we'll very likely end up putting it in a video just like this. Maybe part 4, maybe part 5. You never know, I never know, but we're excited to find out. That said, I'm excited to meet all of you. Yes, all of you listening in, boys, girls, everyone, and anyone in between. I want to meet all of you. And to do so, if you want to come say hi, just do so on my Twitch, Brian Von VA. I'm over there, just streaming constantly. And I might be doing some D&D things on occasion just to make everyone smile and laugh, of course, because that's my job. I enjoy it. And as always, to try to end things on a positive note, today is no different. I know a lot of people out there have been kind of screwed over by DMs. I know a lot of people over there in the world have been screwed over by players too, and have witnessed or heard tales of horror when it comes to DMs messing with their groups or not knowing what they're doing. Inexperience is fine. They only get better when they learn. But if someone's truly being kind of a shithead at your table, the best thing you can do is bring it up. And if there's no resolution in sight from being diplomatic and having a conversation, do the right thing for yourself and just leave. You can always find another table. We're in a golden age where we can communicate with anyone, anywhere, anytime. So from me to you, you're all worth having a good time. You're all worth having fun. Go have fun with a D&D group that actually cares about you. You can find them in our Discords. You can find them on Roll20. You can find them on forums all across the web or at your local game stores. And all of you, every single one of you listening, deserves to have your voice heard and to have your characters played. I love you all. Be safe, be happy, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.